Hi everyone, welcome to the Fall Garden series. A lot of you have been growing and harvesting your delicious warm weather vegetables all summer, those cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, and really been enjoying yourself. Well, just because it's coming to the end of the summertime doesn't mean that it's time to stop growing veggies. Plant a fall garden, and that's what this series is all about. Now you might be wondering, what is a fall garden? Well, there's two types of vegetables: warm weather vegetables that you've been growing all summer long, and cool weather vegetables that like temperatures under 75 degrees. So today I'm going to show you how to start your cool weather vegetables, your fall garden. A lot of them are even frost tolerant, and that way you can have some delicious vegetables to eat during the fall and even sometimes into the winter months. So let's jump in. Maybe you've never planted a fall garden before. Maybe you think you can't grow vegetables in the fall because you're headed into the cold winter months. You absolutely can, and be enjoying those cold tolerant vegetables into the fall and even into the winter months. Now I'm going to show you today how to start from seed indoors. Now, why would we start from seed indoors? Well, in most areas of the country, it's still hot, and it's too hot to grow these cool weather vegetables outside. So we're going to start from seed indoors, grow them inside for about a month to 6 weeks, and that way, when it cools off, you're going to be ready with some cold weather vegetables to plant outside in your garden. The other reason why you want to start from seed indoors right now is, as you can see from my garden beds are full and there's no room for this cold weather vegetables. So this allows me to grow some transplants inside till the warm weather vegetables die off, and then we'll be ready to roll. We're going to jump right in and start some peas. Peas are a great cool weather vegetable, and I love to start seeds a couple different ways. You guys might have done this on the Spring Garden series. A super easy way to start is in peat pellets or in these little seed cells with soil. So I've already got some peat pellets expanded here. If you've never grown with peat pellets, you guys are going to love it. They're little compressed discs of soil, and what you do is you just pour water on top and they expand. And if you're growing with kids, the kids absolutely love growing in peat pellets, and peas are a great vegetable to plant with them because they grow so fast and you can harvest them so quickly, and the kids absolutely love harvesting them. Now here's some peas that I started 2 weeks ago from seed. These have been growing indoors under grow lights, and they are just about ready to plant in the garden. We're in the middle of a heat wave here in Southern California, so I'm going to start a new round, and hopefully by the time this new round is ready, the weather will be cool enough. So here I've got some peat pellets that are already expanded. We're going to go ahead and plant in those. And you just fluff the soil up, peel the netting back a little bit. Super, super quick and easy. No muss, no fuss. And we're growing seeds here from the Fall Garden seed collection. Now I've done all the heavy lifting for you. I've put together a collection of 12 cool weather vegetables, so you don't have to worry about what to purchase. Done all the thinking for you. And here's our pea seeds. You can grab these over at CaliKimGardenandHome.com. And pea seeds are nice and large. And it's really fun to give your kids their own little container to grow in. They really like it. A lot of people are homeschooling now with their kids, and you can make this part of your homeschooling curriculum. So you just poke a seed into each pellet here. And peas also will take frost, so that's one great thing about growing them. As the weather cools off and it frosts a little bit, it actually just makes them nice and sweet. And these are the sugar snap peas, which are super delicious. They're so sweet. You can eat them pods and all. And they're very, very productive in the cool weather.
What are you doing?
So here I'm just pushing the pea into the peat pellet, covering up with soil, about an inch or so. And we're going to put these inside under the grow lights, and you're going to see them sprout probably within about 3 to 5 days. Now, if you've never done grow lights before, don't be intimidated. It's so easy to get grow lights set up, super inexpensive. I'll put a link to the video that shows you exactly how to do that. If it's already under 75 degrees in your area, peas are a great vegetable to plant directly in your garden beds or containers. Now I'm going to make sure I put my label in here because we don't want to get them mixed up with our other vegetables. The other super easy way to start seeds indoors besides pea pellets is starting them in these seed cells with some potting mix. Now you can use any container you can find around your house. I like to recycle these seed cells when I buy transplants at the garden center. That way it makes it really quick, simple, and very inexpensive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some potting mix to my seed cells. Now you don't want to use your garden soil. It's really heavy and the seeds just don't sprout very well. I'm going to use Good Dirt potting mix. It's an organic potting mix. It really retains water well. It's got lots of good plant food in it, so it gets your seeds off to a good start. So I poured my Good Dirt in there. And you want to make sure that you pre-moisten your soil before you plant your seeds. So I'm going to wet it down here and then just mix the water in before I add it to my seed cells. Now I'm going to keep adding water and mixing it in until the soil is the consistency of crumbly brownie mix. Not too wet, but you definitely don't want any dry pockets. Our soil is looking the perfect consistency. So let me just show you. You can't squeeze any water out. It's just kind of crumbly. It falls right out of your hands. It's not too waterlogged. Looks like crumbly brownie mix, right? So now I'm going to fill up my seed cells with soil. Just going to fill them all the way up to the top here. And what I like to do is thumb pack, it's called thumb packing, the soil into the cells so there's not a lot of air pockets. That way your seeds get really good contact with the soil. And if you don't have recycled seed cells from the garden center, you can also pick them up on Amazon. Or sometimes your local garden center will actually have them for free if you just go in and ask them. Okay, now we're ready to plant some more seeds. The next cool weather vegetable we're going to plant from the Fall Garden Seed Collection is cabbage. Now this is red acre cabbage. It's a smaller variety. It's red, so it's super, super colorful and beautiful. You guys are going to love having this in your fall garden. Here's some I started a couple of weeks ago, and let me show you how beautiful the little seedlings look. This was started, I think, 2 weeks ago, and look at how pretty those little leaves look. We're going to be planting this outside in just a couple of weeks. So you guys are going to have a lot of fun. For a more detailed explanation of cool weather vegetables versus warm weather vegetables, you're going to want to pick up a copy of my book, Organic Gardening for Everyone. Homegrown Vegetables Made Easy has a whole chapter that explains that and lists a whole bunch of cool weather vegetables and warm weather vegetables. You can grab it with the Fall Garden Seed Collection book bundle and save $5. So let's plant some red cabbage seeds. We're going to pop some here in these seed cells. And it is so easy to start these seeds, you guys. And like I mentioned, if it is getting 75 degrees or under in your area, most of these seeds you can also plant right in your garden beds or containers. So these seeds are pretty tiny here. And I'm just going to put 2 or 3 seeds in each seed cell. Now don't get too worried if you put too many seeds in, because we can always go back later, thin them out. And these will sprout probably also within about 3 to 5 days indoors under grow lights. Next one is broccoli. Now I did start some broccoli seeds indoors and I wanted to show you guys, but I had a little bit of a problem. A cabbage looper got into my grow light closet, and let me show you how my broccoli seedlings look right now. Broccoli is a beautiful cool weather vegetable, and I was envisioning those beautiful green broccoli heads. Well, it's a good thing we're starting more seeds indoors, because you know what? Things happen in the garden, and these cabbage loopers just went through and ate my whole tray of seedlings. But no worries, it's always good to plant backups, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. Now, the first thing you're going to notice about broccoli seeds is that they look exactly like cabbage seeds. So that's one reason why you definitely want to label your seeds when you plant them here, because they look almost exactly the same. So we're going to do it in exactly the same way. 2 or 3 seeds in each seed cell. Pop our label in. And I am going to cover my seeds now with a little handful of soil, just very lightly. You don't want to put a lot of soil on top, because you want to make sure that your plants don't get too smothered with soil and they have a good chance of germinating. And these seeds are tiny, so they only need a really light sprinkle. So I'm just going to mist really lightly with water, and the reason why I'm doing this is so I don't disturb the tiny seeds. And you do want to make sure that you keep the top of the soil nice and wet while they're germinating. Next cool weather vegetable we're going to plant from the Fall Garden Seed Collection is Georgia collard greens. These are great for those fall and winter salads, and collards are a superfood too. Now, unfortunately, my collard seedlings also got eaten by the cabbage looper, those darn cabbage loopers. I was so disappointed when I pulled this out this morning. The great thing about collard greens too is they're also heat tolerant. So if you're still getting warm weather like we are here in Southern California, collards are a great vegetable to pop right into your garden beds or into your containers. They'll last through the heat, and they'll also last through the frost as you get into the winter months. So same method here. You guys are learning the drill. Couple seeds in each cell. Get our label in. Next cool weather vegetable we're going to plant is kohlrabi. If you guys have never grown kohlrabi, you are in for a treat. It is such a fun vegetable to grow. It's kind of like an above the ground turnip. This is the purple kohlrabi. It's really, really pretty and so tasty. It kind of tastes like a broccoli stem. And again, fell victim to the darn cabbage looper. But you can see here in the seedlings that got half eaten how pretty the stems are. See how they're really purple? Then the kohlrabi grows above the soil. I cannot wait to harvest these once the weather gets cooler. So we're going to pop some seeds in here in our seed cells next to our collards. And again, you'll notice that these seeds look almost exactly the same as our cabbage, broccoli, and collards. So all that more reason why you want to make sure that you label these especially. It's also fun to try new vegetables. If you've never grown kohlrabi, if your kids have never tried it, they are going to absolutely love seeing this really amazing, unusual vegetable grow. So we've got our seeds in, we'll pop in our label. So we're making great progress. So far we have 4 cool weather vegetables planted. We're going to plant a 5th today and a couple more after that. This one is spinach. Now spinach is a great cool weather green. It's going to go beautifully in your salads with your collards. And it is an absolutely delicious, super, super nutritious green. And these seeds look a whole lot different here. You can see they're much larger. And spinach takes a little bit of time to germinate. It could take 1 to 2 weeks to germinate. So hang in there. And it also is very heat sensitive. So, which means it will not germinate in temperatures over 75 or 80 degrees. And if it gets too hot, your spinach will not grow very well, or it will start to bolt, which means it shoots up a tall stalk from the middle and will start to develop flowers and won't really be too much good for eating anymore. So I'm actually going to poke those seeds down into the soil with my pencil. So they're a little bit larger, so I want to make sure they're really good and covered up. And again, you can plant spinach directly in your garden beds or containers as long as the temperature is cool enough outdoors. Add a little extra soil here. Pop in our label, and there we go. Couple more cool weather vegetables we're going to pop in our seed cells are ruby queen beets and mammoth dill. You've got to have the herbs in there too, right? Look at these beautiful ruby queen beets. You can tell why they're called ruby queen. Look at that beautiful red stem. Now beets are really fun because you can grow them for the roots or for the beets, which grow underground, or you can grow them for the greens. In the hot weather, they tend to produce more greens, but in the cool weather, you'll get some really nice beets from it. And the dill is a beautiful cool weather herb. You've got to have dill in your fall garden. And these are all in the Fall Garden Seed Collection. And we are going to pop these right into the last few cells over in our seed cells here. Now beet seeds are a lot larger, similar to the spinach seeds. But they're really fun seed because beet seeds are little seed pods. So inside this pod are actually several seeds which will sprout into your beet. So I'm actually just going to put 2 seeds in each seed cell. And beets work very, very well planted directly in the garden beds, which we'll be doing here as the weather cools off. But I like to get some planted here even in the warm weather because the greens are super, super tasty and very, very colorful as well. So again, I'm just going to poke these down into the soil with my pencil just till they're covered with soil, maybe a 1/4 inch deep or so. Put a little bit of extra soil on top, mixed with water. All done with the beets. Now we're going to plant some mammoth dill. This is such a delicious herb. We love having dill in scrambled eggs. You can make dill pickles with it if you have any cucumbers left. And the seeds smell absolutely amazing. You're going to love the smell of these dill seeds. And I think they're really pretty seeds too. So just sprinkle a few in. You don't really need to be too worried about how many seeds you get in, because dill can grow very close together. The beautiful thing about dill is if it does flower in the warm weather, the bees absolutely love the flowers. So it's always a good herb to have in your garden. Make sure all those little seeds are covered. We're going to plant 2 more cool weather greens, and you guys are going to love these. We're going to have such a good salad for the fall. So we're going to plant some arugula and some old-fashioned mustard greens. These are both in the Fall Garden seed collection, and I like to plant these in a container because they're a little bit more heat tolerant than some of the other greens like lettuce, and that way I can move it into the shade or even into the house if the weather gets really warm. And they also grow so fast. So first I'm going to plant some arugula. And again, these seeds look very, very similar to some of the other cool weather seeds. They're just a little bit smaller and a little bit lighter brown. Just going to sprinkle these in half of this CaliKim black 5-gallon smart pots, and you can grab these over at CaliKimGardenandHome.com. Super convenient. You can easily move them around. So here I'm just sprinkling the top of the soil with some arugula seeds. And I like to plant these thick because I like to get a nice green carpet of greens when they sprout. And arugula and mustard greens are one of the fastest growing greens you can plant. You guys are going to love growing these in your garden because you're going to be having fresh salads in about 4 to 6 weeks. So these are the old-fashioned mustard greens. Again, just sprinkling them over the top of the soil. And give a light sprinkle of soil over the top again. These are going to grow beautifully as the weather cools off, and even into the winter as they're also frost tolerant. Well, good work everyone. This is exciting. We have 10 cool weather seeds planted for our fall garden. It's going to be so much fun to watch these seeds grow into vegetables that we can eat and harvest. Well, the next step is I'm going to move these indoors, put them under grow lights. You want to leave your grow lights on for about 18 hours a day. 6 hours a day off, and I cover all that in the Spring Garden series, so I'll link up that video below so you know exactly what to do. Now you definitely want to stay tuned to the Fall Garden series because we're going to be planting these seeds outdoors. I'm going to show you how to directly plant some seeds right in your garden beds. It's going to be a really fun series, so make sure you subscribe and follow along through the fall and even into the winter months. Well, comment below, let me know what seeds you're planting for your fall garden, and grab yourself one of the Fall Garden seed collections. With my book, you can get the book seed bundle and save yourself $5. Get some seeds planted now. Believe me, you are going to be so glad that you have those cool weather vegetables into the fall and winter months. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next video.